Here we are again working on our yoga socks. Peyton's Croy Socks. Yoga socks to knit. There's a free pattern on the Yarnspirations website, www.yarnspirations.com. Alright. We finished all of this first section. We did our split where we cast off stitches and cast them back on. And now we've finished the decreasing of the 8 stitches after we did the ribbing up here, the 5 rounds of ribbing. We did the decrease. So now we have 64 stitches again. Now it says in the pattern, beginning on the second round, work approximately 2.5 inches in texture pattern, ending on a 1st or 5th round of the pattern. So what they're referring to is this that we did earlier. This part we did right here. That's called the texture pattern. That's the texture pattern. The way you can know what texture pattern is back here when you were first working the design. It said repeat the last 8 rounds for texture pattern. And remember, at that time I said texture pattern. These 8 rounds have a name. They're called the texture pattern. So that's what we're doing now. We're going to be working that texture pattern again, starting on the 2nd round. So we won't start on the 1st round, which is knit. We'll skip that. We'll start on the 2nd round. And then we're continuing the texture pattern, ending on a 1st or 5th row until we work 2.5 inches. So we're going to start on the 2nd round, and then we'll do the 3rd and 4th, the 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. Then we'll go back up and we will do the 1st round. Then we'll do 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever, until we work 2.5 inches. So you know how to do that. You can do this. But I will go ahead and start the 2nd round. Pardon me. Knit 1, purl 3. So that's what we're doing right now. We're knitting 1 and purling 3 over and over again, because that's the 2nd round of the texture pattern. Knit 1, purl 3. 2, 3. So you know how to do this, right? You can do this. Yeah, you can do this. 1, 2. I'm gonna purl 1 off of this other needle, so I don't have to start with a purl over there. There. So I'm going to leave you to yourself to knit those 8 rounds of the texture pattern over and over again, starting on round 2. And then as soon as you've worked 2.5 inches, check back here and we'll do the next part of the design. Now remember, when you end those 2.5 inches, you need to work either a 1st or a 5th round. So you would actually do the 1st round or the 5th round to end your 2.5 inches. Now, it says you're working 2.5 inches in the texture pattern. So right here, this round that we're working, you need to put a stitch marker on it, because we're going to be measuring 2.5 inches from this point. And if you don't put a stitch marker here, then you won't have anything to measure from. So be sure to put a stitch marker on this row. If you don't have a stitch marker like I do, you could use a little piece of yarn in a different color, like bright red or bright yellow or something like that, and you can measure from this point as you work your rounds. So that's my little bit of advice there for doing this section. So I will see you in the next video when we will be almost finished with our project. Talk to you later. Bye.